Hi guys, Algared here, and we've got something special for you. We have a game pack to give away. This game pack has LTI and two ships, the Fury LX and the Mustang Alpha. A great pack to get. All you need to do to be in a chance to win this pack is make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. No duplicates, no duplicate comments, but that's it. Watch, enjoy, and enter for a chance to win.
G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by my partner in crime, Algared. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Another busy week.
Has been a busy week. Busy weekend. Yeah.
All right, so this one, the people that are long-time viewers of the channel is probably going to know how this one's going to go. But I did want to give the opportunity to talk about this one more than just an LTI token, because it's very obvious that this is an LTI token for most people. I think a lot of people have picked it up. But I do want to actually talk about the ship on its merits, because I did have a long think of this, and there might be a ship that I've missed, but I don't believe, Algared, there is no other ship that comes without guns.
Apart from the MPUV, no.
Yeah.
So, and this has been specifically built for with racing in mind. And as a racer, it has some really good qualities, but it also has some significant downfalls. So,
yeah, the MPUV. Now I think about the MPUV, but the MPUV also kind of has utility and stuff like that. Like it has utility mounts.
And it's also it is also a proper snub like this. So
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like this is generally the first nothing. And I guess MPUV kind of does share that with it, but that's what I kind of meant. Like it literally is just nothing. We've never really. Well, I guess MPUV kind of does fall into it too, but yeah, this is even more nothing if you get my whole point. But yeah, so yeah, I do like some of the things they've done with it. Like they've added some of the razor. If you see the front parts that they added on the fins here, we're gonna have a look at when we go in game. It's got some razor cues on it too. It does fly really well. Like I was watching Croncy practice for the event that was on this weekend.
That's been running. Yep.
And he was just, like rolling everywhere, like coming around some of the turns and just doing like full, you know, up and overs and stuff like that. And it does look impressive to watch compared to some of the other races I've seen in the past. Now, racing's not my jam. It's probably more yours than it is mine out of the two of us. And I'd probably even argue it's not yours that much either.
I know, I'm more of a behind the scenes support, publicity, that type of side. But I do like the racing. And but like I said at the beginning, this does have some real good advantages as a racer. At from the data I've seen and heard, it's actually got the best thrusters of the strongest thrusters of any shipping game. So in terms of turning and being able to do that, it's really good. In space tracks, in outer space, in areas around like Rim Hex and those areas, those tracks, it will dominate because it's really fast. In atmosphere, it's one of the slowest, and it makes up for it though by that ability to turn really sharply and that. So it does have advantages, but like I said, it is a it's more a rally racer than a dragster. If you think of the
Herald,
the Herald on tracks like the Crux Cup at Orison, the Ahimani track, the Herald dominates.
So just real quick. So these are the extra thrusters, I believe. Like there's two here, and then I believe there's a. And of course, now I want to show it. I can't see it, but it's on the. I do know on the wings up here they have. There it is. There's one, just the side of it there. So it's got extra thrusters all over it, like you were saying. Got some of the strongest thrusters of any ship in the game, and that would go. You'd make sense considering its size and things like that as well. So yeah. How has it kind of been? Because you have more. You obviously. What's the group called that you and Echo made? The racing group.
The Anzio Racing.
Anzio Racing Group. So. What's the feedback been like that for you through the people you've talked to? Like, how well do you think this thing's been received?
The racers seem to like it. For certain tracks, it's certainly good. It used to be like on the Halloran track, which is I think it's the Halloran track. Let me just double check.
Well, just real quick while you're doing that, these are those wings I was talking about that you can clearly tell they've copied those off the Razor. Yeah,
it's kind of got that razory look, but look. So on certain tracks, it's got that. For small ships and fast ships, it used to the P72 used to be one of the fastest. So on the Miner's Lament track, Splen, you had the record for that, I think, of 1 minute 42 in the P72. In the Fury LX, his time on the same track is 1 minute 30. So Echo's called it a P72 killer. In terms of racing, it just dominates that class. In space, it pulls around 2 to 4 Gs more acceleration in all directions compared to the P72, and that's pretty impressive. But the downside is in atmosphere. It's one of the slowest ships. So it's got the best acceleration of any ship in game, but it's got the slowest top speed, or one of the slower top speeds in atmosphere. And so you've got this kind of balance of you need that.
Just real quick, Algared, my K key is not working, and I cannot find the deploy button for the arms. Now, when I was on the PTU, it was up here, but now I can't. No, that's deploy landing. Oh no, you're right. It was there. Cool, thank you. Sorry to interrupt. But yeah, it definitely looks a lot more Razor from side on there. You see what I mean? Yeah, I just want to show those off because this is its kind of. I think the one downside I found of this ship when I was racing with it, and this is in Arena Commander, is it actually comes non-deployed, which is really weird. So you got to deploy it after the race starts. Probably just a bit of an oversight, and that'll get fixed in time. I have no doubt. But yeah.
But so it's quite a good ship. It does have one of the slower top speeds. So it's got a very slow top speed, but a very quick acceleration. And that's in atmosphere, that's its weakness. So because of that fast acceleration, it's really good on tracks with a lot of curves and turns. But on tracks with long straights, it's going to get dominated by the other ships. So it's got that balance. Like I said, it's a rally racer, not a dragster.
So essentially, essentially what you're describing, Algared, is even within racing, things have got their niche. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Different ships have their niche. I think it's nice to actually see a proper racer be able to do those tight tracks really well. Whereas you look at the tracks with long straights, and what you have is you've got a ship that's not a racer, but the Herald would dominate. So the Herald dominates the Harmonium track.
Still got that weird connector on the back too. So it makes me wonder. Is there some other function? I just want it to do more than just racing. Maybe that's just me. But yeah. And also, obviously, they've added little taillights here at the back and things like that as well. But there are small, subtle design cues all over it, which I really do like. Like artistically, I do really like this ship. But it's just not a ship for me. I don't know. How do you think most people are going to find it, Algared, all said and done?
For a lot of people, it's not a ship for them. It's an LTI token. If people are looking at CCUing to other ships, this is at $50, but I think it's $55 for us with the Australian tax. So $50.
It's the same price. Same price as the other two, which finish what you're going to say.
I was going to say, so it's a really good token. There might be a cheaper one down the track, but $50 for an LTI token if you're looking at going bigger, that's pretty good. If you don't have a token,
were you surprised by the fact that it didn't increase and that it was the same as the others? Because that surprised me. I think it kind of speaks to that they potentially overpriced it, the other two, which you and I talked about. We think they did, yeah. So.
I think the other two were probably overpriced, and I think the fact that this ship without any weapons is still the same price speaks to that. Or you could argue that this should be cheaper because it doesn't have any weapons, and it's just a pure racer. And as you said, outside of racing, it doesn't really have much of a purpose. It can't take a passenger, so it's not a taxi.
I do kind of find it a very insulting pricing when you can get a fully fledged starter ship with the package for less.
Yeah.
And you got to take
Yeah.
that into account. That's crazy.
When you can get a C8X with a
Mm.
you know with a game pack for I think that's 60, but if you get you can get an Aurora and a Mustang Alpha, Aurora MR and a Mustang Alpha for I think for us it's $49.50 for both.
It's $45.
Yeah.
For
So we
US pricing
with the tax we pay $49.50. So, but that's still, even with that tax, it's still cheaper than that without the Australian tax. So and that's a hard pill to swallow for a little ship.
Yeah.
But it is a niche ship.
It does have lots of little extras over the other theories, like special rings and special wings and special thrusters and all that. So I can see the not having the guns thing making it the same. So it does have these little... It has details the other two don't have. So, it's... I don't know. I think it is a very niche ship, even within the racing community. But those that like it will pick one up, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it. But I think our recommendation for most people is, even if you do like it, being at $50, if you're not picking it up for an LTI token, it's 100% an earning game. Great little ship, fun little time, just not worth that value that we always talk about.
If you've got and I wouldn't get while it's on sale, I wouldn't even consider getting one on credit, just because if you had the credit. You know what I mean? So unless you're A, collector, B, a racer, or C, looking for an LTI token, don't get it.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's nothing against the ship. It's just.
Yep. We've seen a few of these now, so it's a standard thing. But we'll talk about it, give it a fair shake, and tell you guys what we think of it. I'm waiting for one to come out, and we'll be like, yeah, definitely get it, because it's worth it, And I think the closest, I don't know, I'd have to kind of really think about that. But the MPUV, out of all the snubs, is still probably the most valuable snub to me, as an example. And there are some few outlier ships, like, especially for the now, things like that. Like, a lot of people like the Nomad right now, but it's hard to get behind a Nomad because of the value proposition. But with the variants coming up at this AIE, we might have a contender for that, Algared. Anyway, we'll talk about that obviously when it drops. Is there anything you'd like to hear from people below in the comments, Algared? Like, is there anyone that is I kind of want to hear is there anyone that is a niche racer that picked one up, because and tell us about why you picked one up, and this ship specifically. What niche does this fill for you in racing? So, Algared?
Well, I'd like to hear the racers actually tell us what they've found of the ship, how they found it's performed, how they finding it's performing. Are their experiences lining up with what the data that I'm seeing, in terms of its low top speed, low top speed, but really good acceleration. It's great on turns with all its thrusters, all of that type of stuff. Are you finding that as well? Am I just off my rocker, being a crazy old man?
Well, I think maybe that's why it was the price the way it was to the original Fury, because the Archimedes is there though. See, so I can't kind of recommend this as the Intraman's racing ship when the Archimedes is still there, and the Archimedes has still got guns too. So it's it kind of takes it out of that racing domain as well, because it can still be, it's got more guns than the Merlin even. So it actually kind of, how do you not recommend that? You know what I mean? Like the Merlin's still different though as well, because it's got that main central gun. But what would you prefer, the main central gun with ballistics, or for laser repeaters? So the strengths and bonuses to both those, but again, having guns, they get taken side of the domain of racing, and they've got other utility.
And when you look at racing, like I said, the main track has been run at the moment, the Miners Lament, 1 minute 30 for the Razor LX, 1 minute 42 for the Archimedes.
Maybe
that's a significant difference.
Maybe this is the ultimate escape pod, Algared.
Maybe it's the ultimate escape pod. Fly very fast but can't jump.
If I get one in game, I'm gonna have to call it the escape pod now. I think that kind of covers it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, people do so. They can put it into both hangars or both cargo bays. So yeah, I suppose it's a fancy escape pod.
All right, well,
luxury escape pod. There you go.
Let us know your thoughts below. It'd be interesting to see. I think it's pretty typical of what we kind of recommend here on the channel. There's nothing really too surprising here, but we feel we have to talk about every ship based on their merits as well. So yeah, with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you for all those people that went the extra mile on the final screen on Patreon. Algared.
Before we do go, although the Ignition Expo race was on this weekend, the time trials are still going. And so for the time trials, all you need to do is go to, I believe it's the Halloran track in Arena Commander. I'll double check those details, and if I'm wrong, and put it into the notes. Time yourself doing the track, and then submit it onto the ANZ thing, and you could win something. So,
and some of the giveaways are Fury LXs, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they are from memory.
Yep, I believe for the time trials there's one Fury LX at least, and then a whole pile of spacesuits. So
good event to participate in, because you don't have to turn up at a certain time. You can do it in your own time and then just submit it, which makes it very unique event. And I think that's the advantage of a time trial over everything else. Yep. All right, with that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
Catch you in the next one. Bye.